What's going on, you guys? This is New York Adventurer 1994 here, and today is Monday, December 30th, 2024, and I want to talk about what's going on with the NFL right now, and I really want to talk about this last week, week 18, of what could go on here for a lot of teams. I want to go over what I could expect from Week 18 in the NFL's 2024 season before the season comes to a close, before the playoffs start. So we have some stuff to talk about here. So last night, the Falcons and the Commanders faced each other last night on Sunday Night Football. And the game went overtime last night, and the Commanders actually took the win, and they made the playoffs for the first time since 2020. This is the first time since 2020 the Commanders made the playoffs. And this is like the second straight leap year in a row they did so. It's been 4 years since we last saw them in the playoffs. And now the Falcons are like tied 8-8. And now we're gonna have to see who makes the playoffs for the NFC North. But I have a really big gut feeling that the Buccaneers are gonna win it all again in the NFC South. If the Buccaneers beat the Saints next week, they're in the playoffs, and the Falcons miss once again. But I think if the Buccaneers lose next Sunday against the Saints and the Falcons beat the Panthers, then the Falcons are going in the playoffs for the first time since 2017. But I have a really strong gut feeling that the Bucs are gonna take the playoff spot while the Falcons get eliminated again. I know both teams are gonna play competitively against the Saints and the Panthers, but I highly think it's going to be the Buccaneers for the 5th straight year. And sadly, the Saints have missed the playoffs for the 4th straight year. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the Saints the last 4 years. They used to be so good. They used to be on top of the division until Tampa Bay took the throne. And now the Saints look like complete rubbish now. And they're not really going anywhere. They're not really doing anything right now. Yeah, I was really shocked when they fell out of the playoffs in 2021. I thought that was just going to be one season and that was it. Just one season of headaches, but I was proven wrong. And for the NFC North, we have the Vikings making their 14th win yesterday. And the Lions have a game tonight. And if the Lions win tonight on Monday Night Football against the 49ers, I think it's going to be a war next Sunday between the Vikings and the Lions when they face each other. And it's going to be a war on who's going to win the division for the NFC North. I'm rooting for the Lions to win that so they can win the division because they definitely need it. Especially going 0-16 back in 2008. Yeah, I root for the Lions because I felt bad for their dark history in the 2000s, where they missed the playoffs for 12 years between 1999 to 2011, and they became 0-16. I felt sorry for the Lions, and that's why I started rooting for them, because they were in dark ages in the 2000s. I'm really amazed how much the Lions have changed over the last several years. So if the Lions win tonight, it's going to be a war between the Vikings and the Lions of who's going to take the division before the playoffs begin. Don't worry, guys. Both teams are in the playoffs. No doubt about that. It's going to be a matter of who takes the division and who takes the throne. So, let's talk about the Giants. I've been done with the Giants since October, and they have made a disgusting 10-game losing streak. This is the worst I have ever seen with the Giants in my entire lifetime. It's much worse than when I saw them in 2017, of how bad they looked in 2017, but the Giants look way worse now than they did in 2017. They lost 10 games in a row alongside the Chicago Bears, who started losing games since October also. Once the Giants started facing the two Pennsylvania teams, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, they just fell flat on their face, and they lost all their games in November and till the end of December. I know they got their third win against the Colts yesterday, but I'm still done with the team this season. No matter what happens. I've been done with the Giants ever since October. I gave up on their season. This is the first time since 2020 where I stopped watching the games. I skipped the Giants in 2020 because they were still looking bad, and we were in that monster virus at the time, and my mind wasn't really set on sports at the time after the NHL playoffs in 2020 that year. My mind wasn't really into watching football, so I skipped the Giants that year because they were still bad too. And this is the first time I haven't watched that many Giant games, just like 2020. Yeah, I skipped the second half of the Giants season because of how bad the Giants were getting. They looked much worse now than they did in 2017. And with how bad the Giants look now, I don't think they're going to make it in 2025 either. I think the Giants have like several more years ahead of them before they become good again. Because I don't like what I'm seeing here. It's a really bad sign for next season. I don't see them doing anything in 2025. And with that Giants win yesterday, I bet Indianapolis is really pissed off at us right now because we've spent all our time looking so bad that we actually robbed the Colts of getting a chance into the playoffs after 4 years. And now the Colts are eliminated. The Colts, the Jaguars, and the Titans are all eliminated in the AFC South. And Houston actually takes the throne once again, but they're the only team in the division making the playoffs again. Just like how last year ended for them. I'm actually grateful Houston made the playoffs again because it's about time Houston did a lot more than they did back then. I'm really grateful for the Texans making the playoffs. They're like the good side of Texas in football, while I severely hate the Dallas Cowboys. I see Houston as the good side of Texas football. And I'm hoping they do much more than they did before in the playoffs. And it's about time they actually make a Super Bowl run. That would be really nice to see. I'd love to see that with Houston. They're one of the teams I actually root for because I see them as the good side of Texas in football because I really hate the Cowboys. So yeah, Houston is isolated into making the playoffs in their own division. And want to know who else is isolated into making the playoffs in their division? The LA Rams. The Seahawks, I don't know what the heck that was. So the Seahawks have once again missed the playoffs for a second straight year. I don't remember the last time they missed the playoffs in consecutive years. And now the Rams are the only team making the playoffs in the NFC West. And the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the 49ers disappointed the West once again. The 49ers are missing the playoffs again for the first time since 2020. I feel really bad for them, really. I can't believe the 49ers are missing the playoffs. It's really sad how they collapsed. Hopefully they'll start winning games next year. I'm hoping this is just like 2020 where it's just one season and then they'll start getting back to normal. Hopefully they're not looking bad again like they did in the late 2010s. I'm hoping the 49ers do better next year. But I'm more surprised of the Seahawks missing the playoffs. Because they really got close and then they just fell out once the Commanders clinched the playoffs. So yeah, let me talk about the NFC North again. I mean the NFC East again. So with the Giants and the Cowboys missing the playoffs, and the Eagles and the Commanders in the playoffs, it's not going to make a difference next Sunday if the Cowboys beat the Commanders next Sunday, because the Commanders are already in the playoffs, and it's not going to make a difference for the Cowboys because they're not making the playoffs for the first time since 2020. That's why I have to say. And I think the Giants are going to finish their season 3-14 because we have to face the Eagles next Sunday. The no good Philadelphia Eagles, which are going to be 14-3, and we're going to get destroyed next Sunday. Oh, and the Patriots are also the worst team in the East also. I hate the New England Patriots, don't get me wrong, I do, but I can't believe how bad the Patriots still look. They're in last place again, and I think they're about to be 3-14, their worst record since the 90s. Ever since being 1-15, like in the early 90s. This is the Patriots' worst performance. And I know they're going to get destroyed next week by the Bills. And I know the Jets are going to be 4-13 because the Dolphins are going to be pacing into getting that last playoff spot in the AFC. Alongside the Cincinnati Bengals and the Denver Broncos. And I think the Denver Broncos do have a good shot at making the playoffs if the Dolphins and the Bengals lose, but it's really concerning on another part. You see, if the Dolphins or the Bengals win and the Broncos are facing the Chiefs next Sunday, the Broncos are going to get destroyed. And the Chiefs are going to be 16-1. And either the Bengals and the Dolphins could blow right past them. No offense against any Jet fans, but I have a higher confidence in the Dolphins making the playoffs than the Bengals. Because the Jets have been struggling all year once again, and the Jets are on their 14th consecutive year of not making the playoffs, sadly. Yeah, I feel bad for the Jets. They really need changes, but it makes the Dolphins have a better shot at making the playoffs, sadly. And I know the Bengals are going to get destroyed by the Steelers next Sunday. Yeah, I don't feel that confident for the Bengals, but the Dolphins have some confidence because sadly the Jets can't really do anything. And the Broncos are likely going to get destroyed by the Chiefs. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, the Chiefs are going to be 16-1. Let's see what else I got. What else do I got? Yeah, so sadly the Jets are going to be 4-13, and the Patriots are going to be 3-14. And about the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Browns have found a way to look so bad again, like they did way back then when they were an 0-16 team in 2017. I feel really bad for the Browns, looking like their old self again. And they're about to go 3-14 again, and are likely going to lose to the Ravens next Sunday, sadly. I'm hoping the Cleveland Browns find some help again because they're starting to relapse into their old selves again, sadly. Hopefully a lot of these teams get help. But for my team, the Giants, I don't think they're going to go anywhere for a while. Neither are the Patriots. And I can't believe the Bears actually lost 10 in a row alongside the Giants. And I think they're going to lose 11 in a row. I'm telling you right now, against the Green Bay Packers. So yeah, this is what's happening for NFL Week 18. So I guess that's it. Bye.